hence capacity building across developing nations. With the expanded BRICS Plus framework representing a large chunk of the world's population, member nations face both significant challenges and unique opportunities in advancing AI development. How can the Global South co-build a more inclusive digital South under the GDI, one that bridges the AI divide and transforms technological potential into shared prosperity? Now, to delve deeper into these questions and beyond, I'm honored and pleased to be joined by a group of panelists, both in the studio and online. Here with us in the Beijing studio are His Excellency Mr. James Kimoyo, Rwandan Ambassador to China. Welcome, sir.
Pleasure.
Mr. Jia Daojun is professor at the School of International Studies at Peking University. Welcome, Professor Jia. Good to see you again. Maseret Babu Ajigu is lecturer and researcher at the Beijing International Studies University. Good to have you with us. Also, we have with us online Mr. Sean Thum, Special Functions Officer to the Deputy Minister of Communications and also Global Youth Leader at the World Internet Conference. Mr. Shen Ling is Senior Vice President of Tigerobo. Liu Yuechen is Technology Transfer Director of the AI Technology Center at Shanghai Jiao Tong University National Facility for Translational Medicine. Zhang Jiawei is Chief Executive Officer at Cool AI. Welcome to all of you. Professor Jia, good to see you again. Let me ask you this first. It's a very important concept, the digital South concept proposed by the Chinese Premier Li Qiang at the BRICS Summit held not so long ago. It's a very important initiative under China's Global Development Initiative, which was one of China's 3 organizing principles for its foreign policy right now. What does this digital South entail? What it is really about?
It's really a Chinese contribution to make AI work for the entire humanity. If you recall, back in the early 1990s, you had the WTO and other functions that promoted the growth of information technology. You had the International Telecom Agreement. But today, we don't have international organizations doing that. Instead, you have big power, superpower competition. So what China is offering under the let's say Digital South as a concept, as an organization. It was first tabled at the BRICS in Brazil, and then it also followed up just a few days ago in Shanghai with the offer to create a World AI organization. These are concrete steps that would emphasize, in my understanding, 3 core principles. One is equality between the North and South. We continue to have gaps, but this Digital South is to invite all willing partners to the same platform. So a second one is to emphasize adaptation, because with the AI and what we used to call information technology, you have that tendency to emphasize adoption. In other words, just copy what I have. But by making in AI South, the Chinese government, the planners, I would think, government officials, including scholars, are emphasizing that we invite contribution, we foster innovation on the part of participants from the South. The last one is, this is AI for livelihood. So development of AI under the AI South as a project is not just to, let's say, develop AI, new means for developing weapons, or simply to come up with new indicators of advancement as a pure technology. This is to promote livelihood, agriculture, commerce, healthcare, and a lot of other issues.
What aspects of this Digital South concept excites you the most when you think about its potential impact on the Global South?
I would think its openness. That's, in other words, we are trying to share what we have been doing here in China, beginning with digital payment, the convenience, that's well known, and then you have all the information learning, and certainly responsible governance of the spread of data, whatnot, and then integrate all these aspects of AI applications to all walks of life. And that's what the Global South needs.
Yeah, exactly. Openness is what we need. Your Excellency, Ambassador Kim Mong-yo, Rwanda is a fascinating country to many of us journalists because it's really demonstrated what is possible for a emerging economy, from conflicts and even war to modern governance, leveraging modern technologies, leveraging AI, under, of course, the wise and visionary leadership of President Kagame, who went on our show a few years ago. Maybe you can share with us the insights and experiences of Rwanda and your own digital initiatives, and how you see this initiative coming in line and creating synergies with China's new Digital South initiative. What do you think this Chinese Digital South can do and can really create synergy with your country's projects?
Thank you so much. Indeed, Rwanda started from a very low base in terms of rebuilding itself from the tragedy that we faced in the early 1990s. And right after the tragedy, we had to sit down and come up with a blueprint and figure out how we develop our economy and improve the livelihoods of our people. And from the word go, we had to look at the potential, the resources that we have. And we said to ourselves that the huge resource we have is our people. So we have to invest in our people. And therefore, our economic model is going to be a knowledge-based economy. It's going to be a knowledge-based economy, but the growth is going to be led by private sector or powered by technology. And that's why we had to invest heavily in technology, and I think we were the first country on the continent to roll out the fiber optic cable across the districts of our country. All 30 districts were, had this infrastructure rolled out. And from that time, we have been building different platforms to make sure that people have access to internet. We had to train our young people within Rwanda and also outside Rwanda. And so when you look at the structural divide that is there in the world, we thought for us to be able to leapfrog and move faster in terms of transforming our economy and our country, we had to invest in technology. And at the moment, if you look at the whole spectrum of the ecosystem of technological advancement on the continent, we're still lagging behind. But just to give you a few indicators, I mean, you look at as we said, the AI development across the world, the access to technology, the penetration, more access to mobile phones, skills in terms of digital skills, the content is still lagging. But when you look at the figures, as you said, Rwanda has moved very fast. At the moment, we are talking about 38% of internet penetration, which is way above what other countries have.
78%.
38% penetration. But access to internet, because of the combination of the fiber optic cable, but also the satellite internet, to the point that now, at the moment, the entire country is covered by 4G network. 96% of the country is covered by 4G network. So people, any corner of the country, if you go to the national park or any the remotest part of Rwanda, you'll have access to internet. And we have been able to make sure that people have access to the tools, because we have access but also need the tools. And the mobile penetration now in Rwanda has gone up to 85%. And other countries are still lagging at around 30% of the access to mobile phones. Skills, very, very important. And when you look at this initiative, the Digital South initiative by China, is followed by a lot of investments on the African continent. You look at the infrastructure, China has been contributing to building infrastructure on the African continent, providing energy infrastructure, because if you want to build these technological tools, you have to have adequate energy, because at the moment you look at the continent, the access to electricity is now, the consumption of electricity on the African continent is between 4% to 6% globally. And Rwanda has moved to the point where now we have access. We are striving to achieve universal access. And now we are now at around 74% of access to electricity. So if you have access to electricity, access to internet, and you have skills, that are instilled in our young people, then you are able to move at the pace that you are seeing in Rwanda today. Of course, this is coupled with the other things in terms of governance, making sure that we deliver effective services using technology through Irembo agents, which is the government institution that delivers service online. And for people to be able to access these services, they have to have mobile phones, they have to have internet to be able to receive services. And implementation is very critical to make sure that all the programs that the country has designed have to be implemented. Of course, in addition to that, we have seen a lot of investments from private sector, investing in our economy, which has made us to be a highly competitive economy on the continent.
Yeah, hopefully this initiative will translate into policies and will be in synergy with national policies sooner rather than later. Master Ed, let me turn to you. Ethiopia sits in a very important location of the world. It connects the Arabic world, the MENA world, and the Pan-African world. Ethiopia is also a very progressive country. You have this Pan-African Artificial Intelligence Conference held not so long ago, a Digital Ethiopia 2025 agenda. Talk to us about your perspective when it comes to this digital South proposed by the Chinese leadership.
Related to this, what's the digital development related to AI, that will, what types of, roles we expect, from BRICS to make equitable AI development at international level. The first one is they should establishing, South-South AI knowledge exchanging or knowledge transfer that will help to make a joint research between Ethiopian University with the Chinese University that will help to carry out something new that will be shared for those who need, for the researchers, for the public to make a conference, for making AI knowledge exchange. The other is, the BRICS, they should launch with Africa for AI infrastructure funds, They should providing a fund on that. That will help to making a co-investment in AI area that will help to make a collaboration and partnership with the global South nations and China, in order to promoting this. The other is they should make a collaboration related to developing an ethical, inclusive, and a multilingual AI dataset and standards. This AI dataset and standard that will help us to govern how can we use AI and how can we usable, on international level. So we should have some standards and ethical way that should be an inclusive. The other is, the BRICS, they should make localize those initiatives, or how can they change or the local challenges, the local difficulty to us an innovation driver, because the global South, they face different challenges, different difficulties. So those difficulties, they must be changed into an innovative idea that will help to make a partnership and to help to a win-win approach, for that means that will help to grow an inclusive to the global South, because there is structural inequality in AI development in the global South and in the global North. So in order to correct such types of structural inequality, the global Souths, they should do their best to make an equitable AI development for Africa and for the global South nations.
Let me turn to our guest in Malaysia. Sean, Malaysia's My Digital strategy aims to achieve some 80% digital literacy rate by the year 2025, which is this year. At the BRICS Summit, partners countries also highlighted the importance of youth-driven digital governance. So as a policy officer, as a policymaker, and as a WIC Global Youth Leader, how do you see youths from around the world, especially the Global South, leveraging platforms such as the WIC in designing and imagining a more inclusive future AI governance framework?
So as a policy officer and also WIC Global Youth Leader, I believe young people from the Global South must be seen not just as passive beneficiaries of AI governance frameworks, but as active co-designers. We need a seat at the table, especially when decisions being made today will actually shape the future of data, ethics, and equity in our regions.
how can youth-driven digital literacy co-creation that you've mentioned, the co-creation models rather, be scaled, copied and escalated through this Digital South initiative to ensure broader impact?
Yeah, so to answer your question, through the Digital South initiative, we can actually scale proven approaches, so such as peer-led digital literacy programs, community-driven AI dialogues, and also youth-centered public-private tech labs. But to truly transform outcomes, we must go further by framing digital literacy not just as a skill set, but as a fundamental right. Because when the youth of today are empowered to own the narrative, AI governance will become inherently a more inclusive, more ethical, and more grounded in the realities of our communities.
You're talking about the proliferation of AI technologies, making it affordable, accessible, equitable, and universally accepted. Technology transfer is very important. Now, Yue Chen, let me ask you about this because you are the Technology Transfer Director at the AI Technology Center. You're a first-hand observer of cutting-edge AI applications in translational medicine. That is a very promising area of AI application.
Absolutely. In translational medicine, we are seeing the tremendous promise from the technologies like generative AI, especially in speeding up the drug discovery, designing personalized treatments, and making medical imaging more affordable and accessible. But as you rightly mentioned, the risk of exclusion due to the tech divide is real, particularly in global south, like barriers like limited computing power, data silos, scale gaps, and high costs continue to limit access to these innovations. So in this context, I believe the GDI, especially the digital south, offers a path forward through several key areas. I think first is from one-way transfer to co-creation and local adaptation. Traditionally, technical transfer has followed a top-down, one-size-fits-all model. What we are now seeing and what the Digital South initiative encourages is a shift towards to co-creation, where solutions are developed into the local patterns, not just for them. And I think second is the localization and optimization. And we are also placing the greater emphasis on making the AI work in real-world conditions. That includes building lightweight models that can function offline or with limited computational power, and ensuring that interfaces, workflows, and language settings are tailored to the capacity of the local health workers and the patients. Take, for example, foundation models trained on local language and medical data. It is not just translation, but it is about cultural and operational alignment. And thirdly, I think it's about the joint R&D and capacity building. So under the GDI framework, I think we can build joint labs, launch research exchange programs, and support local development of technologies.
Shenglin, you're also in that sector. Tech Bureau specializes in large language models and its applications, especially in the healthcare industry. How does this exemplify the digital connectivity pillar of the Global Development Initiative, especially in fostering mutual growth across national borders?
In my view, China can help developing nations with cost-effective AI infrastructure, like Chinese cloud platforms, China-made GPUs, and cost-effective algorithms such as DeepSeek and other Chinese open-source models. Take Tiger Robo as an example. We have a partnership with Brazilian healthcare AI company. Tiger Robo takes care of developing a medical foundation model for the Brazilian market, while our Brazilian partner is focused on business development in its local market. Now our medical foundation model and its applications have helped local online health platforms and hospitals improve their workflow efficiency.
I want to talk about some specifics regarding artificial intelligence. We've been talking about the large language models, but there are other things going on right now. Cool AI develops, edge computing solutions tailored for resource-limited environments. Let me ask you about this, Jia Wei. how do you see lightweight AI models contributing to a digital leap, if you will, in regions facing infrastructure and economic limitations?
Actually, like on the lightweight AI models, actually it's all about making AI more affordable and accessible. So actually, I think AI is not just about like building powerful large language models in the labs. We believe that it's more about bringing practical AI to the last mile, especially solve the last mile problems. So which means we need to bring AI to the farm, to the classroom, even to the local shops. And like for the global south, especially for the digital south, we believe it's a great opportunity which is we can do the leapfrogging. Like for example, in Kenya, we are collaborating with some NGO groups using very lightweight AI, for example, an AI assistant on WhatsApp to assist they call it Mama Bogus, which means like the street vendors who are selling like the groceries or vegetables. So AI can help them with the sales forecasting using just the local language, like voice to voice. So we believe that there's a lot of very detailed, very small scenarios. They don't require that very heavy AI model. They are just very lightweight.
It's important to spread the benefits of AI, to democratize AI benefits is the main slogan declared by Rio de Janeiro BRICS Summit. Professor Zhao, let me ask you about this. Democratize AI benefits, it sounds beautiful. What can be the mechanisms, the steps in place to ensure that that becomes a reality instead of making it a game for the rich? And how do you expect the Digital South initiative of China to factor into all this?
Well, to democratize AI benefits is not just nice sounding slogan. If you may have heard, I'm sure you have, the scientists who developed AI or the entrepreneurs talking about being on the right side of history. How does an AI company that does invest and in AI advancement be on the right side of history? And that is to make your models open source. And China has been doing that. And now to democratize AI benefits, number one is, I think, open source AI. That closely related to that, the second step is to train local language models. A lot of times, when we talk about data is oil, and that data is coded either in English and here in China, partly because of the large population and the customer base is Chinese. But what we desperately need, earlier the cool AI was talking about voice AI application, is to train local language models. And related to the third element of this is that when you democratize AI benefits, when you do a digital south, you don't aim for large companies or big brand names. You don't monetize this. We closely connected with the other 7 areas of the Global Development Initiative comes out. We want to foster partnerships between Chinese and Global South companies to come up with any solution that's fit for purpose. That purpose is the betterment of local livelihood.
I think you raised a very important point, Professor. That is having, to diversify the source code, make it multilingual and multicultural and multi-contextual. Because I think one set of data that I came across is over 60% of the information sources that ChatGPT provides is based on the English language sources. Only that's a lot. Only less than 2% is from the Chinese-speaking world, where we're severely underrepresented. We're not even talking about our colleagues in Africa and Swahili or the Rwandan local languages that are represented. Ambassador, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's very important, and I think that's why the models that are being developed have to be applied in local communities to address problems in the language that they can understand. And democratizing AI requires to open up and avoid a situation where, for instance, the compute capabilities are concentrated in the developed world. Open up also for the global south to be able to access those capabilities. There are use cases that are known, whether it is automation, whether it is in education or health, they are there. They can be applied and be adopted in the local languages so they are able to effectively help the people. I just give an example. Already Rwanda is using AI to train rural health workers. And most of them, they don't necessarily speak the foreign languages like English or French. So how do you then make sure they understand the subject that they are covering so they're able to help the local communities in terms of providing health services? So it is very important to allow access, and all these capabilities that are concentrated in one part of the world be allowed, to be accessed by the global south, and particularly the African continent, which is struggling in that sense. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to tap into the potential that China has. It is opening up for all of us to have access to these tools and these models, and they can be adopted locally, but also allow the young people to develop their own tools, because the language that is already familiar to them is going to be used in terms of developing the AI tools. So I think it is very important that this decision is collectively taken by those who have already developed a lot of technologies, so that the rest of the world is able to take the advantage of what other people are using. And I'm talking about the use cases, but also the new technologies to allow people, as Prof said, allow young people in local communities in our respective countries to be able to develop tools and be able to access resources in terms of financing startups, because Rwanda has a very strong program in terms of supporting startups who are involved in all types of innovations, including AI development.
Yeah, President Kagame in the AI Summit made a very powerful speech where he said nobody in Rwanda or in Africa should be left behind in this wave of AI development and advancement. He says the key is to transform Africa's demographic dividend into a driving force for its AI and economic development.
Absolutely. And the president is right, because if you look at the demographics, between 60 and 70% of our people are, people who are below 30 years of age. And these are people who are contributing significantly to the economic growth. So they should not be left behind. The key to convert or transform this potential into economic transformation in Africa, we need to provide the skills to them. And specifically, when you look at what we are doing with China, last year we signed a memorandum of understanding with the ministry in charge of ICT. And the major areas, about 7 areas that the MOU covers. One of them is digital infrastructure rollout and development. The second is artificial intelligence, which is very important, and the skills development and cybersecurity and so on. So for us to be able to have an inclusive growth, we want to make sure the larger demographic, the larger percentage of population is also part of this movement of developing AI or using AI to power our economy. If you look at Rwanda, and particularly with China, we are already working with China to support a lot of initiatives that Rwanda has. In terms of training, we have now a program called 1 Million Coders. We want to make sure that we have young people who are involved in coding so that they are moving faster to catch up with the rest of the world. We have built Rwanda Coding Academy. This is an academy that is training young children below 13 years of age, so that when they grow up, they have basic skills in coding and the software development. And we have to make sure that people have the skills to apply these tools. We have what we call digital ambassadors, who go across villages to train people to the basic applications so that they're able to access services that are provided by the government, and prepare those who are in the academic ecosystem to prepare themselves to adopt these tools that are being developed elsewhere and also develop their own, given their own peculiar circumstances. So it is very, very important, as the President said, that as we think of adopting and developing artificial intelligence, we need to focus on our young people.
Talking about multi-language and multi-contextual models, there's a very new and upcoming phenomenon, engineered in none other than your country, Maseret, Ethiopia. Ethiopia's National AI Agency is currently working on delivering this Amharic large language model to reduce reliance on Western sources. Tell us about that, and also within that context, the cooperation potential between China and Ethiopia.
Okay, thank you. Now, currently, the Ethiopian AI institutes, they are launching or developing the Amharic large language models in order to reducing their reliance on the Western systems. This development is a critical step for my country to get a linguistic sovereignty and to get a digital independence. In order to achieving these two main points, the Ethiopian government, they should make a synergy or collaboration partnership with China in order to achieve what they said, because we need a linguistic sovereignty, we need a digital independence. Personally, what I recommend is that the Ethiopian universities, they should make partnership or collaboration with Chinese university to make a joint research in AI development or in AI tools that will help to achieve our initiatives related to the LL model or the Amharic large language models. They should promote knowledge transfer program. China, they have a knowledge transfer program. Really, I am one of the witnesses. I did my PhD here in China at University of International Business and Economics. So definitely China, they contribute, they transfer knowledge to the global south. So I appreciate what the Chinese government, they do, because they are thinking an inclusive growth to the global south. They're providing a scholarship by PhD or postdoc, other platforms also, and they are providing technical assistance in different areas.
Jiawei, let me ask you, in May, President Xi Jinping visited an AI incubator in Shanghai, and you were actually there when he said, and I quote, "AI is a nascent industry, and it is also an industry that belongs to the young people." As a young entrepreneur and contributor to AI standards yourself, how do you see multilateral platforms and initiatives like the Digital South, like the GDI, advance inclusive standard setting and mobilizing multilateral resources to foster shared AI development?
President Xi's AI for Youth is actually a call to action. Especially it's the responsibility of our generation to embrace more cooperation instead of competition, actually. So we can also see that more and more people, they are appealing for example, like setting up like World AI Cooperation Organizations, which potentially maybe set in Shanghai. So actually we believe that at this moment, we need to enable the innovators, and like the globally most young people, they are in any countries, there are a lot of like creative young people. Like the global south or digital south, the resources is far beyond just the funding. It includes like the knowledge. For example, we can provide training to different countries, like the AI literacy training, and we can also provide a lot of scenarios, which means like AI can be applied in different industries. It can be applied in public health. It can be applied in like the ESG. It can be applied in education. So there's also a lot of like the opportunities between the global networking, which means like the collaboration between the global south.
To wrap up, I want to get the final thoughts, the closing thoughts from each and every one of our panelists on what specific actions do you think should be prioritized to co-build this inclusive Digital South initiative, very important initiative proposed by the Chinese leadership. And by the way, the Digital South is part of the Global Development Initiative. Let me start with you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. I think, and thank you for bringing up this conversation, which is very important for all of us. And Forum on Africa, Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, FOCAC, you find global governance of AI as an aspect of the action plan. So I think going forward, it is going to be very, very important for the Global South to cooperate in three important areas to make sure that AI becomes a reality in terms of applying it to spur our economic growth. One is to ensure full access to digital infrastructure. Number two, we need to make sure that our people, ordinary people, have access to the tools that some of us in the urban areas have taken for granted. And thirdly, we need to make sure that our young people are trained and are given access to the tools that will enable them to develop some of these models that are going to help us in many, many important areas, in health, in education, in agriculture, in transport, in automation, so that we can accelerate our manufacturing capabilities, especially on the African continent. And China has already set the path for us to be able to cooperate in these areas. China is building hydropower plants to make sure that many countries have access to infrastructure. China is supporting technology transfer already in some of the African countries. For instance, Rwanda, I talked about Smart Education Project, which is funded by China to support schools. China is building hospitals, and one of the examples is the hospital that China built in Rwanda under FOCAC, which the next step is going to be to make it a smart hospital, meaning AI is going to be applied in terms of making sure that its services are going to be very effective. And in terms of training, we have so many young people who are being trained in China in terms of ICT. We're looking forward to working in supporting local talent development through different initiatives that have been put in place by the government, as I just mentioned.
Very good points, very useful tips. Thank you so much, Ambassador. Professor Jia.
I'm an academic person. I would think down the road for BRICS Plus or the Global South to work on AI collaboration. Certainly, as mentioned before, co-development, AI literacy, and all these matters. But I want to particularly encourage dialogues, conversations on the literacy of AI governance. And the purpose of doing that is to avoid undue, let's say, sometimes politically engineered sense of uncertainty about the influence of fear, and then let the spread of AI for good, and that's proven, and that's make the benefits of AI tangible to the societies that participate in this.
Very good point. Maseret.
Okay, thank you. Here I want to raise the initiative, the Global Development Initiative is not only just offering a pathway to catch up what we want, but it is a platform for co-building, coexist for an inclusive growth. So we should work out on a AI academy, or we need to provide a research fund for AI later, maybe to open LLM or for my country, for Amharic large language models, that must be open, and we should providing an academy on these aspects. And the other is for ethical and data sovereignty framework to be launched that will help us for an inclusive growth for the digital souths.
Thanks for that. And Sean in Malaysia.
So from the policy and youth development, I've got three priorities. First one, we need more South-South tech partnerships. We need to co-create digital standards that reflect our realities, not just replicate global North needs. Secondly, we need more inclusive infrastructure investment. We need to build digital access from the margin in rural, indigenous, and underserved communities. And thirdly, we need to fund our youth. We need to channel more youth to youth-led initiatives. So this is our moment to reimagine the digital future from the Global South, not just for it. Back to you.
We must find the youth. Sheng Ling.
From the industrial perspective, Wang Guan, I would say it is advisable to promote the collaborations among the industries across the BRICS Plus nations.
Very, very good. Jia Wei?
Yeah, I'd like to share through there's a concept in Chinese called 天时地利人和, which means it's a combination of a good timing, a right advantage, and the right people in harmony. So we believe my suggestion is also first about the timing. At this moment, the tech maturity, the affordable cost, and also the digital south, the political will, it's a good timing. And for the advantage, it's a great leapfrogging opportunity to directly go for AI native. And so we should focus on cultivate the skilled population. And for the people, we believe AI is more about co-developing the capacities.
Thank you. And finally, Yue Chen.
Thank you. I just want to mention 2 points. First is about scientific and technology transfer. I think we should conduct regional assessment and collaborative research on the AI technologies to inform strategic planning and provide a data foundation for the future innovation and industrial development. Secondly, is about international governance. I think we should work jointly with countries of the global south to develop regional and international AI standards, contributing to a more balanced, representative, and inclusive global governance structure.
Thank you all very much. We learned a lot. And thank you so much for being part of this conversation. And that's all we have for this edition of the Roundtable, Co-Building a Digital South for Inclusive Growth. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned as our programs continue on CGTN. Bye and take care.